Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Let's straight away start with something Mary has asked to please talk a bit more about it. She just listened to an old Satsang and heard that I was talking how to deal with negative energies when one becomes more sensitive. And she would like me to expand a bit. When we start to practice regularly, naturally, the perception is becoming subtler. And so it can easily happen that we suddenly feel in places where we used to feel quite okay, not more so okay, because the general energy there is just not on the same frequency that what we are more and more producing in our own body. So how to do that? What to do with that? How to deal with it? Because then one can easily fall into a bit a trap, thinking, okay, now I'm getting spiritual, so now I cannot more stand this kind of places, I cannot more stand this kind of energy, and have great ideas about it, thinking, this is a manifestation of my spiritual progress. No, it need not be like this. It is a manifestation of getting subtler in the perception. But along with becoming subtler, we also have to become stronger. It's not something we have to hold on to and think, it's a sign that I'm not more able to go there. That's very much, it means that I'm getting spiritual. If we go down that lane, then more and more that feeling will be there, and finally somebody cannot more go anywhere and is always scared of people. So it's good to overcome that. We can, of course, choose our places where we prefer to go. We can avoid places where we don't feel comfortable if we don't have to go there, but sometime or other we always have to confront places where the energies are rather gross, and they will be felt like attacks on the system. Then how do we become stronger? Along with becoming more subtle, we also have to become more strong. If we don't develop that strength, then after that, one has the tendency to create again a wall and be enclosed in that wall instead of being expansive. I mean, if somebody wants to retire somewhere in a lonely place for some time to do spiritual practices, that is perfectly all right. If that is what they want, that is not in order to avoid negative energies, negative influences. It's simply it's simply to be there alone and not disturbed and be able to devote the whole time and energy to one's spiritual efforts. We become stronger when we learn, when there is something unpleasant happening, that we accept that it is there. And then we center physically and relax. If we have to make a wall, then we always are busy to make walls, to make shields. And we have to do that all the time, and it takes all our energy, but we can become transparent energetically. The more you are capable of centering and relaxing, of being really here in the present and relax physically and energetically, then negative energy may be there, may be experienced, not as a very pleasant experience, but it simply goes through the system. It goes through, you become transparent. It comes, it's there, it goes. It doesn't leave a trace. Becoming stronger doesn't mean that we are better and better in creating shields that negative energies cannot reach us. But becoming stronger means that we can be more and more centered and relaxed no matter what is happening, no matter what place we are going to, no matter what kind of energy that comes along. Then you become transparent. And then along with that experience of becoming subtler, becoming more sensitive, there is also that confidence and the strength that is increasing. That, okay, in spite of becoming more sensitive, that capacity of dealing with negative, unfavorable energies is also parallel to that increasing, and then it is not a problem. That is on the energetic level. Physical assaults, they are somewhat more difficult to deal with. I mean, not physical assault that somebody comes and wants to beat you. That is again another story. No, physical assaults that there are physical things on the way now, and even if we make shields, they go through. And even if you are centered and relaxed, they still enter the body, poisonous stuff. But the more you are centered and relaxed, the more you can deal with the negative energy of it, like with other negative energies, and the faster they go out of the system. And when the energy goes out of the system, whatever physical things that have come, whatever has poisoned the system, also goes much faster out of it. So basically, it's still the same. Simply, it's when it's merely energetically, it's becoming, once one consciously does that, it's becoming easier and easier to just let it pass. As it comes, we let it go. If there is a physical component to it, then it may take some time until it's again going out of the system. But if we are basically doing energetically the same thing with it, like with purely negative energies, by centering, relaxing, by not holding on to, by not resisting, by not fighting, but rather relaxing. Then that also goes much faster out of the system. Now there is a lot of stuff going on different levels in the world that is attacking our system. People are getting sick all the time. And for that, it's very, very helpful that we remember, hey, center, relax, center, relax, be here, be now, center, relax. Even when we then go to places where there is a lot of unfavorable stuff happening, where there is also a lot of unfavorable physical stuff that is attacking the system, the more you are capable of centering and relaxing, the quicker it goes out of the system. And energetic attacks, they come all the time from somewhere or other. We can learn not to get influenced. Or even if we become aware, something has really influenced me in a negative way, and I haven't been quite aware of it at that moment, no need of panic. Just then remember, okay, it has happened. There is something there that is trying to push me in a direction where I don't want to go. So instead of getting into a fight with it, simply breathe, center, and relax. Be here, be now, and relax. And then whatever influence has gotten hold of us a bit is also has to go. It cannot stay. It needs the tension. When we are creating tensions, then we're becoming a target. Then it's being like a wall where something can hit on it and create troubles. The more we learn to center and relax, the more things go through. Okay, I'll leave that subject, and then she quickly, shortly mentioned another totally different topic. Mary has started to do some kind of qigong, and then she says, but then I'm finding myself wandering off with my mind instead of being here now and feeling the energy. What can we do about it? Well, Mary, that is the problem of every practitioner, no matter what they are doing. That is exactly the thing, that we try to practice something, anything, and then out of habit, the tendency is there that the mind is going off, and one dreams about something, the mind wanders everywhere, and one is doing the practice mechanically. So what to do about it? Now, in the context with the Qigong, you just don't too much try to feel the energy. Feel your body. It brings your attention here. And then along with the movements you're doing, coordinate it with the breath. That you're consciously breathing while moving, and feel the body and relax while doing it, and more you become aware of the energy. Then you can also help with the imaginations, that you imagine with certain moves that the energy is flowing this way, flowing that way, that the energy is flowing up in the body, flowing down in the body. I talked to Sudha as she's practicing Qigong since a long time, and she additionally said it's very good to remember to connect with the earth and with the sky. That helps you to stabilize in the present. Just feel your body when you are moving. Don't move mechanically. Relax your body. The more we are relaxing, the easier the energy flows. So if you feel your body and relax, more and more you start to feel the flow of energy. And then in the Qigong exercises, if you do certain moves, you can also intend the energy flowing in one way or another. But the more you are relaxed, the easier you can feel it. And if you become aware, oh, there I'm again totally off somewhere, wandering around in totally different places that has nothing to do with what I'm doing here, then never mind, don't make a big deal out of it. Simply bring the attention back. Feel your body, move consciously, coordinate the breath with the movement, and relax, and relax, and relax. But it's not only for the Qigong, no matter what practice one picks up. Maybe in the beginning it needs more concentration because it's something new that some technique or other one has to learn. But once one has learned it, it becomes easy. Then just that it goes on automatically and the mind can wander off anywhere and do something else. And then suddenly one becomes aware, oh, the time has passed. And somehow you have faithfully done your practice, and yet your attention may have wandered off somewhere else the whole time. Once the body, mind, this psychophysical manifestation is used to a practice, the tendency is there that it can become mechanical and it's easy to dream away while practicing. So whenever one becomes aware, then simply bring the attention back to that practice. Whether it's a practice sitting quietly and a certain meditation technique, whether it's a practice involving the movement of the body, somehow or other, when we wander off and become aware, then we just find a way to simply bring the attention back here now and do that practice consciously. Let the practice happen and yet do it consciously. This seems to be a paradox, but actually in practice, the more you do that, the more you become aware this is simultaneously happening. That if one becomes more well versed with a practice, then it's more that you let the practice happen and yet you do it consciously. Okay, then I leave also this topic and I'm asking you, my friends, is there anybody who would like to come in and say something? You're welcome to do so. Okay, I bring up a totally different topic. I have recently talked repeatedly to somebody who has some old traumas sticking in the system. Sometimes it's easier to deal with it, and then in a more difficult phase, then that comes up again strongly without actually knowing where the trauma really comes from. But somehow it's so obvious that there is something in the system that creates problems, grosser and subtler. Now, what to do with such a thing? Now that person has gone to repeatedly to therapists, trauma therapists, and other therapists. Momentarily, it has sometimes helped, sometimes not. It gave a bit relief, but then somehow it is still coming back. And now we had a bit a conversation, different attitudes about one point. For that person has learned from therapists that it's absolutely necessary in such a case that there is somebody who is doing a therapy, that there is somebody who is helping with their presence to come out of it. And definitely that can happen, that is happening if one is with a good therapist, but then being somebody who is in a situation like this need not fix that idea that is absolutely necessary. Ultimately, finally, we have to learn to develop the strength ourselves, independent, to deal with whatever comes up. Like what I talked before about influences, negative influences from outside, negative energies. One can learn to deal with them in such a way that they are not influencing, that they are not throwing us off our balance. And actually, the same thing is true with what comes out of the depth of our own subconscious. Even if there are strong traumatic experiences in the past, often very early in life, and then they become powerful, and it's not easy to know exactly what and why and how, and it's not necessary to get obsessed about it, trying to figure out what and why and how. And if one is in contact with a therapist who helps with the sessions, that is okay. But actually, that therapist's duty would be to make that person clear whenever this comes up more and more, you can also do it yourself. Not stick that idea in the head that somebody is necessary, some other person is there with their energy, with their nervous system, with whatever. In order to free ourselves from smaller trouble or from bigger trouble that we are carrying along, it's good to develop that strength, that conviction, that confidence. That after all, I'm capable. I have the potential to deal with it and to become stronger than all, to become stronger than all influences, whether they are from outside or from inside. The therapist's job is to make the person strong and independent. And some people, they never go to a therapist, and slowly, slowly, develop that strength more themselves. That no matter what we are carrying along, no matter what stuff comes up from the subconscious, there is that capacity that I can learn to deal with it, that I can develop that strength that even when it comes, that I'm not getting thrown off my balance, because there is always that possibility to connect. Of course, if somebody is very much in an agitated state, it's not so easy then to simply center and relax. That is clear. And so it's also good to practice that when one is not in a confrontation like this, that we learn to practice that all the time. And then when the period comes where the attack comes, when there it's more difficult, then that capacity is also getting stronger and stronger to remember, okay, I can center and relax. There is that aspect in me that is not affected by anything. It's always there. No matter what's going on in the mind, no matter what's going on physically and energetically, there is always that aspect that is totally unmoved, and we can learn to connect with that consciously, and by doing so, developing the confidence. That actually should be the therapist's job, to help the people develop that confidence, that finally they become aware, I'm independent. I have the potential, no matter what difficult situation I'm facing, I'm capable of dealing with it in a creative and harmonious way. Yes, Floyd writes, the therapist wants to keep his business going. Of course, it's very good for the business to tell the people that somebody is necessary, because then the people have to come back. But we have all the potential. Many of us have been hurt growing up, some more, some less. Some people have really deep, terrible traumas, and they are not quite aware how they have entered and fixed themselves in the system. But no matter what is there, if we are patient, if we are perseverant, if we learn to develop that self-confidence, we can work our way out of it. In your being, you are free. We have to find a way, and we can find a way to connect with that aspect that is always free. And then, even if one has had quite a baggage carrying along from the past, from the conditioning, from a very difficult youth, we can learn to let it go. And then finally, it loses its power, and it's just a story, and not more something that has the power to attack us and to pull us into negativity and depression. Okay, I'm asking again. Is there anyone who would like to say something? You're welcome to come in.
Hi, hello.
Hello, Leela.
Mm. I want to say something about my experience and then to ask you a question about what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few therapists.
Uh-huh.
Um, and also I've been doing spiritual practice. And yeah, always have been very conscious about my situation, and maybe not. Yeah, this is something to develop, of course, consciousness. And I have suffered a lot, and depression, which I tried to deny for years until I realized, let's face it.
Right, very good.
Yeah, for many years, for many years. Sorry for sounding a bit dramatic, but my childhood was really, it's a miracle that I'm sitting here and talking to you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I wanted to add another aspect to what you, and I'm happy with what I did. And today I'm a much happier person, of course. And, yeah, I'm developed. But when we are traumatized traumatized, and we have developed all kind of habits and way of reacting, and to protect ourselves, and and all the tactics, like strategies and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And then we go through life, and we find a job, and we work, or we develop a profession, and we get married, and all kind of things people do.
Yes.
And and this the way we behave somehow is dictated or based on our trauma, on our depression, on our disappointments, whatever. So then we create more problems. I mean, they are created because we're troubled. So then we don't succeed with the work. We have small fights with people, and we feel lonely, and all sorts of stuff. I'm talking from my own experience. So I've managed to go through. I had jobs, I have a profession, I've managed to. But now when you spoke about it, it really came up how many times I just couldn't take it any longer, and I had to leave the job and take another job because I was troubled.
Yes.
I think you understand what I mean, so I don't think I have to go on.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you said you had a question about it.
Yeah, what do you think about it? Because it's a process, and it's not just like one day, like, okay, you do person does what you recommended, and then one day everything somehow solves out, and we can go on. But it's not, because it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, because we are so troubled and unhappy and blah blah. So what do you have to say about it?
Right. The thing is, once these patterns are in place and people are not quite aware that they are there, then once they are in place, they are just directing our actions all the time. And by repeating and repeating the same patterns, it's getting stronger and stronger. And of course, if there are troubles up patterns, one will also create troubles outside and get into the same kind of troubles all the time. And the crucial moment comes that basically we become aware, hey, I am really creating that. And I can't stop doing that. Instead of blaming the world, instead of blaming the parents, instead of blaming the society, instead of blaming everyone, they all have been there and they all have been contributed that this has happened. But nevertheless, I am the one who keep on repeating the pattern. And there, when that insight is there and that conviction is there that I can work my way out of it, then one starts to look at it very different. Instead of feeling always as a helpless victim, there is that conviction, okay, I have been a helpless victim so many times, and actually, I need not be like that. Of course, it will not, especially strong stuff, will not simply go away from one day to another. And then, if one has help, so much the better if the help is a good help. But the the important thing is not that we then hold on to that help and think everything stands and falls with that, but that if that help is something worth its salt, then they make you aware you yourself have the potential to come out of that vicious circle of repeating the same thing over and over. We all have that strength. We just have to somehow start to become aware of it and then have the courage to really work on it. Develop that confidence in oneself. And but the first step is that I take my responsibility instead of always wailing away under what a poor fellow I am because I had that kind of past and this has happened in. I mean, I know people, they had a difficult time and they had developed certain patterns. And then even when they become aware, they learn some psychology and then they become aware, oh, that's because of this and because of that. And then instead of feeling the inspiration, okay, I have to do something about it, I can work my way out of it, they just use it as an excuse for the rest of their life. And I'm behaving like this because this and this happened in my past. So we can start to intend our way out. We can start to really deeply decide, I want to get out of it. Everybody can do that. And then some have more skill, some have less skill, but if one is sincerely starting to work on it, that inner strength is continuously getting greater, stronger, more powerful, and would seem to be impossible maybe for some time, gradually it's getting easier and eventually one can really grow out of that old turning wheel that goes round and round and then it's just a memory.
Yeah. So I just want to say one more thing, and yeah. For me, the turning point was when I became sick with cancer, some 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, I still need probably. It's many aspects to combine. It's not one thing that I have to concentrate on. It's many aspects that are combined. So it's like art, really, to somehow put things together and build the strength. It's not like a magic that one day you understand, the next day you maybe don't understand. So it's like it's like an art, it's like a dance, really.
Right. It should be natural, but as we have been brought up unnatural, in an unnatural situation, in an unnatural society, in an unnatural world, then what should be natural is as if we have to learn something new, like learning an art. And also when you learn an art, then in the beginning, you are not very good at your art, but still, if you persist and practice and go on with it, then even somebody who was not so skilled in the beginning can more and more become a skilled artist simply because of the persistence of the practice. And so this is the same thing. And even if the decision is there, the old habit will be strong. And the habit of falling into depressive moods and starting to blame again the whole universe, except having a good look at oneself, will be coming back. But once the understanding is there, the idea is there, sooner or later it comes. And then when it comes, one has the choice whether one pushes it away or says, no, yes, I don't want to hang on to that victim mood any longer. I really want to be free of it. And the more that decision is there, then the more the it's like the situations also arrange themselves that when help is needed, it comes. And even if there are difficult times coming and their fallbacks are coming, if that decision is strong, then one becomes aware, oh, got me again completely, totally fell again in the dark pit, but there I'm starting again and go about it again and work the way out again. And every time one does so, one becomes stronger.
Yeah.
Yes. Then having gone through that, actually having gone through traumatic experiences and having harbored traumas in one system, but if one works the way out of it, one gets that much the stronger. It was not for nothing. Nothing of all that is for nothing. No effort is for nothing. There's a strength that is building up that stays with the being, essentially remaining the same, but getting stronger, more powerful, more expansive. On and on.
Yeah, absolutely. I can say that. Yeah.
Anyhow, you have done
Thank
a
you.
good job.
Thank you, Werner. Thanks. God with me since I was a year old. So
Very good.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, hurry on. Hurry on.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in?
Hari Om. Hari Om, Werner.
Hello, Vikas. Hurry on.
Werner, uh, I have one doubt. I have heard that previously people were more stronger, or they were more spiritually strong, and they could see mantras and they could make mantras. And from those mantras, there are deities like their different forms, Shakts, Shaivites, Vaishnavites. They
Yeah,
have come up.
yeah,
Now, uh, so now when we are praying to our gods, uh, does it help us? Like, I understand it helps, it is helping me, but why are there different versions, like different deities?
mm,
This is my one question. And second question is, I'll be going to Banaras by end of this month for 4 5 days. So is there anything your suggestion, because it is also considered as a place of Shiva?
yes.
So what should I do? What is important thing which I must do there?
Uh-huh.
So if you guidance.
Okay, let's go to the first part of the question. Yes, it seems that there were times, more enlightened times, where the rishis were so seeing things that now hardly anybody can see. And from that, a lot has developed, like mantras and the whole tradition of different deities in the Hindu tradition. Now, why should there be different deities? After all, if all is one, what's the point in having all these deities? The Semitic religions, they are very proud of having only one God. But they are not better off because of that. They think it's a much higher state because there is only one God and not all these different gods. But what they don't understand is the Hindu deep down is aware when they are praying to Shiva, when they are praying to Rama, to Krishna, to the Divine Mother. This is a form that is representing something that is totally beyond our understanding. It's that same divinity that can manifest in so many different forms. And as people are different, so those who are drawn at all to the God worship, some people don't want to have anything to do with worshipping God in a form or doing such things, but those who are drawn, they also may have natural preferences. And for that, what's wrong with it? Having different deities, that somebody is able to open the heart much easier, seeing the form of Shiva, meditating. Another one is capable of opening the heart much easier, seeing Krishna playing games and playing his flute. The essence of the deities is your own essence, is that one divinity. And if somebody prays to a deity with sincerity, with heart, then you are connecting that one reality. And then there is not a better deity and a less good deity. Of course, the people who follow, they may argue like this. But what makes the deity great and what makes your worship powerful is the sincerity and the real devotion that one is putting into it. If one is connecting with God, no matter what form, with heart, with sincerity, then one is connecting with that divinity that is the essence of everything. And then it doesn't matter whether that form has been the Divine Mother, whether it has been Rama or Krishna or Shiva, whether it has been another form in the whole Hindu pantheon. The form is a help. For many people, it's much easier to connect with the divine having a form to hold on to. And there's nothing wrong. When I was studying Advaita, I had this kind of ideas that, oh, okay, Advaita is the highest and all the others, they are lower. And it's for those who are not yet ready for Advaita, but it was all intellectual arrogance. There is no truth in it. What makes your approach high or powerful is the sincerity with which we are doing it. And if one is opening with worshipping with innocence, opening the heart with innocence and sincerity towards a divine form and gets maybe visions of that divine form, communicates with that divine form that is pointing always back to that essence, which is the same essence that Advaita is talking about. So nothing wrong with the form. If the form makes it easier to connect with the divine, then it's perfectly valid. And people are different, so some have much more facility with a specific form than others have much more facility with another form. That also is no problem. Okay, that's about the first part. The second part, I haven't been in Benares. I've only heard about it, like so many holy places I know from what people are telling me. Now, simply go with an innocent heart. Don't go like calculating as like a businessman going now to a place and think, how can I make the best out of it? But simply go with innocence and connect with Shiva and connect with the divine, and then somehow it will guide you what to do and what not to do. It is not so important what externally you do exactly, which temples you are visiting and which you are not visiting. What is much more important is your innocent, sincere devotion that you bring along, that your intent to connect with the divine, to use the time you are there in Benares to connect that much stronger with the divinity, and then externally you will get guided what to do and what not to do.
Thank you.
You're
you,
welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Nava.
Just a minute. I have to
You have
adjust it.
you have an echo.
Yes, just a minute and I'll adjust it.
Have you two
I
devices
think
on?
that's better.
Oh yeah. Now
yeah.
it's
Something that is not clear to me lately. It used to seem fairly obvious and it doesn't anymore. When I'm having a difficult time, for example, I tend to worry a lot, and there has been a lot of stress in my life and enough things to worry about, even though
yeah.
it still doesn't seem the best way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can not deal with what's worrying me, but just try to find a place that's calmer and quieter, and it helps me settle down.
Mhm.
What's not clear to me lately is it just avoidance? Sometimes do you just have to go through something? And if I just bypass it, is it just going to come back again and again? Is that
You
clear?
mean yes? I'm not quite sure. You said that you go somewhere in a quiet place, or that you somehow bring yourself in a quiet place wherever you are. Did you mean physically that you go somewhere?
No, I meant that I can meditate or just sit quietly
Right.
and connect with something more peaceful. But again, am I just avoiding, or I don't seem to see that clearly lately.
No, now it's clear what you're asking. There
Okay.
is, don't think this is avoidance. If you can bring yourself in that peaceful state, by all means do so, and don't handicap yourself thinking, no, I shouldn't go and escape in that peace when there is work to do on the troubled on the troubled level. If you can just connect with that peaceful aspect of yourself, then the troubles, the worries, they go away. Maybe they come back another time. If you try to get into that peaceful state, but it's something that really comes and nags and nags and nags, and it prevents you from connecting with that, then you have to surrender to the situation. Okay, I somehow have to give attention to it. But if you can drop it, drop it. You are not obliged to go into everything that comes along and worries you and think, oh, I have to somehow work myself through that stuff. If you see it, observe it, and can drop it, then drop it. But if it's too strong and doesn't let you drop it, and you cannot bring yourself back home to that peaceful state, then you may have to accept, okay, I give it attention, and may have to open up to the whole situation and try not to get lost in the situation, but observe it. Observe what's going on in your mind and see how it is affecting your experience right now. What these thoughts, what these emotions are doing to you physically, energetically, and learn to relax. Then maybe certain things have to be worked through like this. But if you are capable of just seeing it and decide, I'm not going into it. I just come back, and I'm at peace. Then by all means do so without any hesitation, without handicapping that thinking, no, I'm not doing my duty if I'm not going through that, that mess.
Okay.
It's something you may have to work through and accept that you have to really give attention to it. And then you do that for some time, maybe for hours, and suddenly it drops and you may think, okay, that is gone. But then, and you are at peace. But then the same thing the next day may come back. But if then you are capable of seeing, aha, it comes back again, but you are capable to let it go and come back to peacefulness, by all means, come back to peacefulness. If it's still too strong, if it's still too much charged, if it doesn't let you go, then you may have to accept again, okay, I give it attention. I really actually open up to the whole story, but remain as good as I can in that observing position, see what it is doing and learn to relax and relax and relax instead of going into it, arguing, me I'm right, the others are wrong, and this should not happen and that, but just see all the thoughts and the emotions and the energies playing and then learn to relax. And after some time it may go again and you're at peace. Still the next day, same thing may come back again. And again, if you are capable of seeing it and just letting it go, come back home and be in yourself, be in that peaceful state. It's not an avoidance. Here you are touching reality intensively. Going through all that stuff, we are also building up a certain intensity, but it's dissipating in all directions. When you are here now, it's powerful and becomes stronger and stronger. And the more you are capable of doing that, the more stuff that comes along that would have pulled us into whole kind of big stories, worrying about, more and more you will be capable to see them, to let them come, and to let them pass without having the need of going into them. Never feel guilty for being capable of making yourself peaceful.
I hear you saying again and again today that you have to relax inside of, if something's difficult, to relax inside of it.
It's crucial.
I see more and more lately how I just fight. I just want things to be different. It's so automatic, it seems.
Mm.
Something happens that's not nice and I just don't want it. And then I see how much misery I cause myself by doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I've understood that theoretically. Lately, it's far more obvious that so much of my happiness is caused by resisting things that I don't like, and there are many things that I don't like. So
Yeah.
mhm.
It's not that you have to now try to train yourself to artificially like them, but you can accept that they are there in spite of you not liking. Okay, that is the situation, but your real essence is not affected by it. And there you are at peace, you are joyous, you are happy, you are complete, in spite of, on a certain level, all kinds of things are existing that are not to our liking, that are not very favorable. There is a lot of stuff going on right now in the world. One can get very not happy about it.
Mhm.
But by simply then staying in that worried space, we're just adding more troubles, we are adding more worries, we are adding more tensions into the collective of the consciousness of humanity, of the collective of what is manifesting in this world. When we can see that, and then in spite of that learn to come back to that silent space, then actually you are doing something about it, because connecting with negative stuff that is not right, that we know from the bottom of our heart it's wrong, it's not right as it is, that by seeing it, it is there, but learning in spite of that to relax back home into your essence, then connecting with that something very strong, something very beautiful, something very creative flows out of you in that situation. And if more people come to that awareness and do that, then the atmosphere will clear up in such a way that certain things that are so common now simply are not more possible.
Could I ask something else?
Yes,
Something
sure,
different,
sure.
Werner? Something else, and it is connected to this that I am having difficulty with lately. And it has to do with obligation to other people.
Mhm.
On the one hand, I find more and more I would like to be available in different ways for other people. And in some ways, it's just sometimes too much. And then I feel badly that I would rather have that time for myself. And I'm finding that very, very difficult, and it can make me feel guilty.
Yes.
Um,
It's, of course, it's part of our conditioning that we have to be there and be of use and service to the community, to the others, to our friends, to our family. But if it prevents you from being yourself, if it's so overwhelming that after that the whole attention is absorbed in it and you are not more capable of connecting with yourself, then actually what you bringing into the situation doesn't go very deep. Momentarily, it may look like you're doing something very nice for somebody, but if you at the same time are very much intentions and agitated, then you have also brought that along with you.
yeah.
So do things for people when you feel, yes, in this situation, it feels totally right that I go in the midst of the story and do whatever needs to be done. But even when you do it, try to remain connected with yourself as good as you can. And if you feel, no, I don't feel that this, even if intellectually you could make many arguments, but it should and should because of this and because of that. But if you feel in your heart, no, it's better that I'm spending my time better, more creative and more helpful actually when I stay by myself, become stronger, self-aware. Then if I go in the midst, then you have the right to follow that. Simply, you have to take in consideration that sometimes people will not be so happy about you.
Well, yeah.
Many of our external running around and services may also be motivated by we want to have a nice feedback from the others. We want them to like us, and if we are not doing it, then maybe they are not happy with us. And so that's not so pleasant. But there is also really many times one has to choose, okay, even with the danger that some people sometimes are not so happy about it. When you feel in your heart it's right that you keep your distance, that you keep your time for yourself, then by all means do that. And if out of habit guilt comes, then let that guilt not handicap you. Then accept, okay, that feeling comes, guilt comes, but then you also watch that feeling see what it is doing, let it be for some time and let it go and don't hold on to it.
Thank you.
The best service you can possibly do to the whole rest of existence to be consciously conscious yourself here now. Right.
Yeah.
At the same time, we can give a helping hand wherever it's appropriate, but we don't have to become professional good doers.
Yeah.
But do that where it comes natural, where it is in the flow, and where you feel, no, it's really, I'm spending my time and energy much more helpful and constructive by keeping a distance, keeping the time for myself, becoming stronger in my self-awareness. Then you have the right to do so, whether people like it or not.
It's most difficult with family, especially children,
Yeah, right.
because it feels like an obligation. Yes.
Of course, then there is the family.
Yeah. There's
Right.
always the family.
Yes. And with them, I guess it's normal that one makes more concessions than with other people because that energetic bond is there, strong. And then there is the pressure of the whole tradition and the society that you're obliged in the family. But still, I mean, your children are not more little children. They are adults, and it's time for them to be adults and independent and not to need their mama all the time.
Please, yes. Yes.
And there also in the family, the same is correct. If you feel your way goes this way and they want you to go that way, then you have the right to go this way, which you feel is right. And if you keep on going, then they may a bit yang 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 yang. But if you go on and stay with it, then after sometimes they may also accept and respect it. Right. Shall we leave it at that?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, Floyd.
Hello. Hi, Werner. How are you?
Quite okay. How are you?
Yeah, good, good.
Are you
I'm
still
back to
in
Goa.
Tiruvannamalai?
I'm back to Goa.
Oh, you're in Goa. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the way you answered about therapy.
Hmm.
And I'm also an astrologer, so somehow, I'm always giving advice to people. And but a lot of people also advise me that, you should try to create ways in which you can hook the people, hold
Yeah.
them for more sessions.
Yeah.
But somehow it is not, my consciousness or conscience has not allowed me to do that.
Mhm.
But eventually I realized that the people go to different places and they still come back and they realize that there is something of value and they see the good intention when uh, eventually they see it. But I think the mindset in most counselors or therapists or astrologers is that they should do something which keeps people hooked. Otherwise they will go to other places and they will, sort of try for other things. So what my approach usually is that is whatever I'm saying, it will be my karma with those people. I'm meant to say something. It's
Yes.
not necessary that I have to say the most accurate or optimal thing, but it is something which will come through me, come
Yeah.
through me as a vessel. So yeah, I've tried. I don't know if I'm the best astrologer, but I've tried to develop my craft. But at the same time, I think in that moment, sometimes, you are tired or the other person is tired, and the message, something which is the best, may not come at that moment for them, because you're spending only 1 hour.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe, I don't know if you have faced that, maybe in satsang also, maybe you tell something and then you say there's maybe something better which I could have said. I don't know if that happens with you. So that is what I just wanted to share.
mhm. If that happens, that you had a session, and then after that, the thought comes, and oh my God, in this situation, I could have, in a better way, have advised, or I could have done this or said that. Then never mind, you can accept that if you go into that session with sincerity, with a purity in the heart, then you can accept it has happened in a way that the person got what they came for. There is not a perfect way of answering anything. You can always answer a little better. You can always do it somewhat a little better. But if they feel, the people who come to you, if they feel your sincerity, then they are taking something valuable with them when they go. And then it's not so important exactly what exactly you told them. And yes, you are perfectly right. Don't get into that business trap of thinking I have to hook them, because then you are not benefiting from it. You may financially benefit from it, but you as a being are not benefiting from it. But if you connect with people and you have then for a moment, for an hour, this power position of the astrologer, but you come with innocence, with purity, and you really, it's something natural for you to share something, then actually you are benefiting also. Both are benefiting, the one who is listening and the one who is talking. But if that other thought comes in, how can I hook them that they have to come back? Then that benefit goes down the drain. The more you can in that session be sincere and authentic yourself, then it's after that, it's not so important whether you told it perfectly, whether you said like this or like that, but that moment somehow has been bringing something to both of you, the one who came to you and to yourself, and both are enriched by that, and that is the best way how to pass such a session. And if they come back, they come back. And if they don't come back, they don't come back. Then that's God's will. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned about practice, and sometimes the practice becomes mechanical.
Yes.
So I think even when I'm doing readings or I'm sharing something with people, that also sometimes is mechanical. You don't get that very strong magical insight.
Yeah.
But as you said, I think, yeah, it is clear, that if one is sincere, then, the other person sees it, and maybe it also helps them to heal in some way.
Yes.
When that sincere listening or the sincere concern, it in a way helps them to heal.
Yes. Authenticity and sincerity is the main thing. And then, of course, right, you may have questions that come again and again, and you have sort of your answers already ready, and it can be a bit mechanical, like with everyone was one is doing with everything one is doing. The tendency may be there become that it's just a bit routine, but then when you see it, it has the tendency, and sometimes it happens, then you can consciously counteract and consciously connect with yourself and consciously come into that meeting, into that session with the intent of not being just there a mechanical automaton, but being in contact with the essence that something beautiful can flow through you. And if you do so, every session will benefit you and also will benefit the people.
Yes. Yes. That is true. Yeah. I think this is a refreshing thing for me because last 2 years I've been listening to Advaita satsangs and they all say, okay, you are not there. And, it is a little bit, most of the Advaita satsangs, so maybe it is Neo Advaita, I don't know. It is a bit cut off from the human side. But I think when I talked with you in Tiru and now, I feel like you are incorporating the human side into Advaita, like, you're sort of addressing things like the practice, like therapy, because I think everyone who is into Advaita for some reason, they have also gone through therapy, they have also gone through sadhana or something, but then there's a tendency to completely cut it off, like this doesn't exist, this is not me, this is just the ego trying something. So I think, yeah, this is a refreshing approach.
Right. There is no point then in denying the value of all the things, even if it's not, the problem is not exactly pointing to something absolute, but if a person is on the way and longs for reality and there come obstacles, then it makes totally sense to see the obstacle on that level and learn how to let the obstacle go, to be free, to go beyond it. And that has nothing to do with Advaita or not Advaita. Advaita is often used as an excuse to just not want to go into sincere work on oneself, but say, anyhow, it's not necessary because you are already dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hario. Hario.
Adios.
If we want, we can take some more time. If there is somebody who would like to come in. What we just talked with Floyd, but then certain teachings may somehow lose a bit the connection with the human side, with life, with reality, what people are experiencing. It's not really because of the basic philosophy. Has more to do with those who handle that philosophy. But anyone who is on the way, anyone who is connecting with intensity, with the essence, who is sincere about it, will automatically also become somewhat, as I said, started the satsang talking about becoming more sensitive. And that becoming more sensitive includes also becoming more empathic. And if one feels a person that has a problem, and most of the time it's not possible to just say, oh, it's not real, it's that level doesn't matter, it's not the real stuff, it's not the essence. doesn't help a damn thing. But whoever does any therapy, or like Floyd does readings, or who is teaching satsangs, that empathy should be there. And that sincerity, that basically it's not done for self-glorification, it's not done for anything else, but actually to touch the truth, to come in touch with truth. And there, if we communicate with somebody, then we have to connect on the level where the attention is, where the attention is busy, where there seems to be a problem, an obstacle, and see the obstacle, look at it, and learn to let it go and become aware there is something that is not affected. Basically, this is how we should live, not simply doing therapy, but how we should live in that world. If that was a sane world, if it was a healthy world, that's how people would live together. Basically, always bringing the attention back home to the essence, because one becomes aware, my happiness, my sense of fulfillment comes out of that, out of my own self. I need not produce it somewhere outside. But then at the same time, in communication, automatically there is an adjustment, because if that truth is understood and experienced more and more, that sense of fulfillment comes out of oneself. So this is true for everybody, and it's so natural that we have to communicate with people in such a way that we are addressing that when there is a problem. We are addressing that and point in the direction. There is a direction how we can grow out of that problem and become stronger with it. This is natural. It has not something to do with this philosophy or that philosophy. If one sincerely connects with people with the intent of contacting truth, the essence, then naturally that should manifest and express itself. Not thinking that there are certain things they are below the dignity of that philosophy. There is nothing below. We are alive, here, now. And in that here, now, the experience is sometimes busy on grosser levels, sometimes on subtler levels. Sometimes the attention may turn back to that which makes the experience possible. And that's our home. And if we want to do something constructive, creative in this world, then we live from that perspective as good as we can. And then automatically it comes that we are feeling like inspiring those we see that are struggling with certain things to also live more and more in that way, that we are connected with the essence, with that which makes the experience possible, with that out of which all the happiness and the sense of fulfillment can come, and not from somewhere else. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.